It has been more than 25 years since a young mother was last seen here in Vegas, and her daughter is still searching for her as if it were yesterday. Time has erased many clues as to what may have happened to Camille Dardanes Cotson, but it is not stopping her daughter Ashley in her quest for answers. And thanks to an internet crusader Ashley encountered along the way, this case has gone viral. Details, pictures, and even podcasts shared thousands of times.
And I've thought of her begging for her life, her on her knees crying. It keeps me up some nights.
Ashley Dotson has lived most of her life wondering what happened to her mom, Camille Dardanes Cotson. She grew up in Chicago, a straight-A student and semi-pro ice skater. She was, by all accounts, a vivacious, captivating young woman, but someone who could not escape her troubles. Today, most people aware of her case believe Camille is dead. But at whose hand? The estranged husband, the new guy she was staying with, an obsessed regular at the strip club she worked at that was owned by a mobster, or maybe even a total stranger.
She's a human and she deserves justice, and if the police aren't going to get it, somebody has to.
Stay-at-home mom Gabby Prolu is doing everything she can to bring heat to this long, cold case after reading about Camille on a missing persons page 2 years ago.
We've been emailing every podcast we can find. I've been contacting every YouTuber. Before this, there was nothing.
Camille was once the center of the news world, appearing on Good Morning America in 1985.
After I met Gary, there was never any doubt.
Her marriage to Gary Dotson made national headlines. 21-year-old Camille was captivated with Gary, an infamous convicted rapist whose accuser recanted her story after he spent 6 years in prison. His clemency hearing was open to the public, and though she never met him, Camille approached him at that hearing, and they started dating after his release. The love and marriage did not last. Camille moved to Vegas, where her mother lived, to get herself and Ashley away from Gary after he was arrested for beating her. The single mom with no higher education and no real job history worked a string of bar and diner jobs, eventually dancing at the Crazy Horse Strip Club and Crazy Horse 2, strip clubs owned by mob member Tony Albanese. Ashley's grandma moved her back to Chicago when Camille got caught in a downward spiral, marrying another abusive husband, becoming addicted to drugs, and eventually turning to prostitution.
She was arrested on September 3rd, 1994. She was released the next day at around 4 p.m., never seen again.
As Camille's case has been thrust into the spotlight online, Ashley and Gabby have found former friends and coworkers who provided details like where she lived, stayed, worked, and spent time. The last man she lived with cannot be found.
There's actually a warrant out for him right now, so we haven't been able to contact him or get into touch with him at all.
Ashley says no matter what happened to her mom, even if she met a gruesome end, knowing will help give her closure.
I think it would help heal that part of my heart that just holds out that hope.
Ashley says through investigating the disappearance of her mom, she's found true family. She now considers Gabby a sister. They work on the case together every day and don't plan on stopping until they uncovered what happened in Vegas to Camille Dardanes Cotson.
However long it takes, it's worth it, because that's a human being out there, and she's a daughter and a mother and a sister, and people loved her, and she deserves justice, and Ashley deserves answers. It comes down to that.
And Fox 5 reached out to Metro asking to speak to the detective now overseeing this case. Though it's been 25 years, a police spokesperson tells us that they do not comment on open investigations and declined our request for an interview. They did send us this statement saying, quote, the LVMPD missing persons detail will continue to investigate any new information about any missing persons case. Anyone with information about the disappearance of Camille Dotson is urged to contact LVMPD missing person detail at 702-828-2907 or email missingpersons@lvmpd.com. Of course, if you do have any information about Camille, no matter how unimportant it may seem, Gabby and Ashley would also like to hear from you at findcamille@yahoo.com.